Why do you think, Elmo, that it's important to help other children?
If you think there'll come a point where the number of migrants pouring into Europe slows to a trickle, then think again. If we continue these disastrous policies, it's only going to get worse.
Right. Amen to that.
All right, we have a very informed guest joining us, Robert David Steele, start of the next segment. As I've been saying over the weekend, clearly the neocons, the Democratic Party, want to start a war in Syria. They want to cause a crisis before Trump is set to meet briefly on the sidelines of the G20 next week. And that's their admitted plan. In fact, can we pull up the clip of the British ambassador to Syria, former ambassador, pointing out that Trump's attack on that base a few months ago green-lighted the rebels who've been caught false flagging chemical attacks, sarin nerve gas attacks. It green-lights them to launch more if they can make the president do what they want by staging it. And I get it. Trump did it for optics. They'd already agreed to give up the chemicals. They hadn't given them all up. They restored at the base. There's photos of that. I get that it was for optics. And Trump has said, no boots on the ground to remove Assad. But clearly the deep state is shooting down Syrian aircraft that are taking out ISIS, blowing up armored columns, doing this. And the Russians have now said, if you come in, we're going to shoot you down. That is massive brinksmanship. And we're all just kind of calmly here going, oh, it doesn't really matter. You know, I wonder what the latest Trump tweet is. So there's that backdrop going on. We're going to be talking about that. But I want to play this short clip because a few days ago, CNN teamed up with Elmo and Sesame Street to say, oh, we're being mean to the refugees and make the kids feel guilty and bad that, you know, Trump's hurting the little baby Muppets and things. So a listener took Paul Watson's words. I love it when folks do this, when you take our material, our info, and edit it and change it, whatever. I even like the stuff that makes fun of us. Just please, more of it. I just love it. But PJW hijacks Elmo character. So I love how the Humet of the internet is responding back. Here it is.
An extremely exciting Facebook Live here for you now. We're talking about an amazing project that is bringing the wonders of Sesame Street to refugees in different war-torn places across the world. And we have some really exciting guests with us. Facebook users, you will want to be asking questions. Start putting them in the comments section. Let me introduce our guests. We have David Miliband, who is, of course, the CEO of the IRC, the International Rescue Committee, who have teamed up with Sesame Street in this venture. We have Sherry Weston, who is the head of global impact for the Sesame Workshop. And last but not least, I have to say this is a real treat.
Wait, what?
Lots of exciting people, but Elmo, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
This is a complete scandal and a huge security threat.
Elmo, can I just start by asking you, because I know you went to visit a refugee camp in Jordan, right?
Yeah.
February?
Yeah.
What was it like?
They're not refugees. Half of them disappear on arrival.
We did.
Many of them support ISIS. And it's partly your fault.
And did you find that the Syrian little girls and little boys were a lot like your friends here in America?
It's not refugees fleeing war-torn countries. It's fundamentally dishonest to call it a refugee crisis when it's not.
And they loved Elmo. They loved meeting Elmo.
And it's been catastrophic.
Well, you're pretty lovable, Elmo. So we're getting a lot of questions coming in, unsurprisingly, because we do have a pretty stellar cast here. But keep sending them in, Facebook users. As you think of questions you'd like answered, just place them in the comments section, and we will try to get to as many of them as we can. I've got a question coming in now for Elmo.
Wait, what?
Surprise, surprise.
Elmo, let me ask you, was it sad for you to meet little boys and girls who had lost their homes?
George Soros open society-backed foundations like Avaz.org, Medicine Sans Frontiers, and MoveOn.org are also allegedly involved. Soros invested $500 million to, quote, help refugees.
I'm sure.
What?
Why do you think, Elmo, that it's important to help other children?
If you think there'll come a point where the number of migrants pouring into Europe slows to a trickle, then think again. If we continue these disastrous policies, it's only going to get worse.
Right.
Amen to that.
And, of course, CNN, the globalists 7 years ago, openly started the Arab Spring to put radical jihadists in, overthrew 5 or 6 countries, did all this, but now they're going to send Elmo for the kids that are being mass murdered and slaughtered. I mean, they're just sick. The supporters of InfoWars, not just here in the US, but around the world, are the cutting-edge vanguard of the reawakening of the sleeping giant that is human liberty. Again, I want to thank you all humbly for fighting the globalist. I want to thank you for your financial support. You're the reasons we're still here and growing in the face of an unprecedented onslaught. That's why this July 4th, we're having some of the biggest sales ever. We have store-wide free shipping at InfoWarsStore.com through July 4th. And on top of that, we have savings as much as 40% off best-selling items. And we're talking about things you need: a wide spectrum of high-quality, non-GMO heirloom seeds, high-quality storable foods, and amazing, groundbreaking supplements and nutraceuticals. Our incredible nootropic Brain Force Plus, 30% off, and now with 20% more in each bottle. Super Male Vitality, sold out for months, concentrated herbs that have absolutely changed my life and so many others, 30% off as well. Deep Earth Pure Iodine X2, now back in stock, 30% off. Z-Shield, our newest product out of the gates, 30% off because it's so amazing and I want you to try it. Emmerich's Essentials Outdoor Special. We're talking our non-nano zinc, incredibly concentrated, high-powered sunscreen, along with Emmerich's Essentials Bug Spray that's totally organic and natural and works way better than chemical brands I've personally used. On that particular special, at 40% off, if you get the additional auto ship 10% off, we're talking about a loss leader. This July 4th, celebrating our republic, celebrating worldwide freedom, and celebrating returning America to its place in the world as a true shining city on a hill where people want to come here to celebrate free market and an open society, not to celebrate a globalist, politically correct cesspool of infighting and mind control.